Shalom, Yashrala. This is your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth as sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson, dealing with Jacob's trouble that's, up and, pretty much in the brewing pot right now. All right. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think, things are being told that, we're not going to go through any trouble, as far as some groups, Israelite groups teaching that. All right. But nevertheless, in the mainstream Christianity and things like that, they push of a pre-tribulation rapture, meaning that they believe that, but they think the church is going to be raptured up out of here before these bad times come. But nevertheless, we're in those days now. All right. The beginning of sorrows. All right. And things are just going to escalate further and further and further. And, we've been constantly warning and telling our people about these things and the times that we're coming into. And a lot of people took these things lightly. But, like the scriptures say, the vision is yet for an appointed time. All right. And the key part about that is the vision. All right. A lot of these people don't have the eyesight to be able to see, the things that's actually coming upon the earth. All right. They don't quite see and understand the severity of these things. All right. So you could tell some people, I remember telling people, a couple years back about basically, how the grinding ceasing and how hard it's going to be and things like that about, scarcity of food and all these types of things. And it was just nonchalant to them. Yeah. They didn't think these things was going to really have a big effect. But as things are starting to, ramp up in these last days, people are feeling, the effects of all these things. A couple years back, you tell people about how the dollar is about to start collapsing and things like that, and how you're not going to be able to afford any food or anything like that. Whatever. They know what they have in their bank account and how much money they're making at their job, but they don't have the vision. All right. The eyesight to be able to see, hey man, Babylon, the grinding is going to cease here. All right. The storehouse is going to be empty here. All right. Then what are you going to do in those times? So, I got my money. I got my job. I can afford food right now. Eggs only cost X amount of dollars. Chicken only costs X amount of dollars, and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, as we're coming into those days right now, all right, you're starting to see people complain about little small things about, some locations, $4 and $5 gas, $7 gas, and things like that, as if, oh man, this is all bad. This is all horrible. But hey, man, these are just the beginnings. All right. Things are going to get way worse than these things, man. All right. When we read these scriptures, they give you an overall description of, certain things. Like, let's say, for instance, I say, hey, there's a dog outside, right? There's a dog outside, right? But I didn't tell you what kind of dog it was, how much it weighed, what color it was, or anything else like that. But it's a dog, right? And so that's kind of like us telling you about the prophecies that's coming to pass. We could tell you, hey, famines are coming, the shortages and things like that. But people don't really know the full extent to these things, man. All right. But nevertheless, hey, we go out and we warn our people about these things coming down the pipeline for you to so-called doomsday prep. All right. And we're not selling food packages, rations, and all these things get you your bunker. No, all of our doomsday prep is all spiritual prep. All right. Getting good with the Most High. All right. And repenting. All right. Coming back, because none of these things that's out here that these people that take this, lightly and nonchalantly is basically, depending on, in their mind, they're going to depend on their own arm to save them, which if you don't have the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah on you, there's nothing that can save you. All right. So let's jump into this here lesson. It says 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and start at verse 1, read down to 6. It says, I'm going to read actually to verse 7, 8. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou see parts the signs past which I told thee before, then thou shalt understand it's the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right. And hey, we understand that the Most High is visiting the earth to bring judgment, the major judgment on this earth. All right. Not to bring flowers and hugs and kisses, like the scriptures say, hey, woe to you to seek the day of the Lord. All right. To what end is it for you? All right. Verse 3, it says, therefore there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. All right. And again, giving the example of, oh, there's a dog outside, some people are like, all right, it could be a little bitty a chihuahua, or it could be a big ass dog outside. They don't quite know because they don't have the full extent of the description. So it's not that big of a deal. But hey, like the scriptures say, and we'll get to it. It's going to be a time like never before since there was a nation even into the same time. So things are going to be intensifying on way larger levels. All right, let me read this real quick. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. All right, now we've always had uproars and riots and protests in the world, but have we ever had them on this here scale? All right, and things, they're ramping up. A couple years ago, you used to think that the Black Lives Matter protests and things like that, and the killing of unarmed Jake and all those, when those first started popping off, oh shit, this the biggest thing possible and things like that. But then you have like the January 6th situation at the Capitol building, and it was like, oh shit, these motherfuckers is running up into the governmental buildings. All right, and they talking about going in there and getting these politicians and things like that. But how much more? And then now you see with these mandate protests and everything else like that, the lockdown protests and everything else like that, man. All right, but how much more when the food starts running dry? All right, because all the way up until this point in time, these uproars and protests, all right, are pretty much on a nonviolent scale right now, comparably to what's coming. All right, if you could only imagine, just to give you a description of what it would be like, just a small glimpse, not even nowhere near what it's going to really be like, but just think about Black Friday, man. All right, people are fighting, stomping people out and everything else like that for a scarcity of resources. Walmart might have a TV that's $200 off, but they only have 10 of them in stock. And so that means that there's 100, 200, 300 people waiting outside the door for them to open the door. All right, and only 10 of those people are going to get that TV at that price. But you got, 200 people that's fighting over that same TV. So, it gets kind of brutal. You can go on YouTube and watch all these Black Friday fights and everything else like that, man. All right, but how much more when this resource they're looking for is a necessity for survival? All right, you don't need a TV to survive, man. You can't eat the damn TV and live off of that bad boy. All right, but when it comes down to, food being rationed out and things like that, man. All right, that's when things are going to get real ugly out here. All right, and most people, again, they don't have the vision to be able to see how these things would really impact them. All right, a lot of these people, hey, just say for instance, a lot of these women, man. All right, a lot of these women out here saying that they don't need no man and all these types of things and what they're going to do in these times. And, some of them even think and know about how things is about to get bad out here, but they're not really moved off of what they like, the real vision of these things, because if they were, they would be trying to, obviously, well, if they, they would probably try to get with a man of the Lord for one, because that's going to be a covering in that day. But nevertheless, they would be, walking with a different demeanor. You see these women walking around, hey, man, just in a real life scenario, man, you see these women getting all up in the men's faces and everything else like that, and they're talking all this big shit till they get hit. Then they find out like, oh, shit, maybe I shouldn't have fucked with that, But then in this here time frame that we're coming into, hey, man, there's no room for no errors in this time that we're coming into. It's going to be a day like never before. All right. Everybody's all used to their comfort level right now to where they can keep doing all these things. Like I said, these women are so used to yelling and screaming in men's face because they know they can call 911 and everything else like that. So they're in their comfort zone. They've never been in a real scenario where they get into a man's face and then talking shit and then get hit in a crowd full of people and she's screaming and this dude is pounding her out and shit like that. And she's screaming for help and ain't nobody trying to help her, man. All right, that would change the whole narrative alone if they just knew that kind of danger was around. So same with these things, man. All right, if they knew about how bad Jacob's trouble would be, all right, they will be running to repentance. All right, keep reading. It says verse 5, verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. All right, and as we starting to see, the love of many waxing cold, Lords, we'll grab that as well too. All right, the violence increasing and all kind of different things. People getting shot over road rage. Somebody cut somebody off, or somebody didn't signal, or somebody slammed on brakes real quick because something flew out the car in front of them in the road, and they tried to stop and dodge, and the person behind them had to slam on brakes. And now they mad, and they rolled up on a person and just shot them, man. All right, things are intensifying, man. All right, we're getting to a certain level to where. If we was to, keep going down this here path like this, man, you just have a bunch of people, that again, people are being squeezed to this position in life. All right. People are losing jobs. All right. Losing their livelihood, feeding their families and things like that, man. So, hey, man, like right now, it's like walking around on eggshells. You don't know what the next person around you may have going on or what type of ledges they're really on. And it could be something so small as you. blowing the horn at them, that can make them just triggered. Like, I done already lost my job, lost my kids, lost my wife and everything else like that. Now this motherfucker want to blow the horn. Man, I'm about to go kill myself anyway. Let me go blast this fool real quick before I go off myself, you know? These are the times that we're living in, man. And it's only going to get worse than that, man. All right. It says, verse 7, and everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. All right. Going into that doomsday prepping. All right. You know, it says, and everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith. All right. Faith come by hearing the word of the Lord, man, and believing on that and then being moved to do the work. All right. You know, if somebody gave you the winning lottery ticket numbers, you know what I'm saying? Like the numbers to play for the lottery. And they're like, yo, this is the winning numbers for tonight. You want them? You're like, yeah, I believe you. I'm going to take them. Boom. You say you believe, but you didn't even go and play the numbers. So I see you the next day, like, bro, you ready to go cash in on that ticket? Like, nah, I ain't even play. Like, man, you didn't even really believe if you didn't play the ticket, man. So if you really believed, even though you took the numbers and everything else like that, you didn't go play the numbers. So you really didn't believe at that point, right? Verse 8 says, shall be preserved from the said peril. Let me go back to 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I sanctified them from the beginning for me. So, hey, man, you know, ultimately the elect is going to be saved, but, you know, it's because they, you know, they heard the word, they were persuaded, and they was moved to action. All right, they started spiritually doomsday prepping. But, hey, 2/3 of our people out here, man, they just taking this for a game, man, and they're going to find out the hard way. Hey, hell, let me just read this for edification's sake. Verse 9, then shall they be in a pitiful case which now have abused my ways, and they have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments, because they ain't believe. They ain't want to listen. They took these things lightly, man. All right, again, going back to the Black Friday situation. Look, bro, you got to get down there early. They only got 10 TVs. You know what I'm saying? And they offer this, you know, they're giving away a $2,000 TV for $10. You got to get down there early, get your number, get in line, and so on and so forth. But then this guy shows up 2 weeks later trying to get that same ticket, man. Hey, man, they're going to be in a pitiful case when they realize, like, them TVs sold in the first 1 minute that we opened up 2 weeks ago, bro. You way late, all right? Now you in a pitiful case. Verse 10, for such in their life have received benefits and have not known me, all right? Because, look, we've been on the highways and the byways telling you and pleading with you and showing you these things, showing you the articles. They ain't want to listen. Verse 11, and they have loathed my law while they yet had liberty, and when yet the place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. All right, because they didn't really see a real danger of these things. They didn't really see the importance to move at these things, man. Again, we telling people about, you know, how things are about to get bad out here. And people are just sitting here marrying and getting married, eating and drinking and living their life, lollygagging around and everything else like that because, hey, man, they thought that they was going to be in a safe, secure place. All right, but lo and behold, the Most High is making his moves right now. All right, and we're building up into what the scriptures call Jacob's trouble, man. All right. This is going to be the last time and the worst time ever for Jake on the face of throughout all of history. Throughout all of history, man. You still got some of our people out here just, you know, lollygagging around. Verse 12, the same must know that the death by pain. So it's going to be an excruciating time, man. All right, a hard time for you people out here, man. You know, and people, like I said, you know, nobody really wants to see you know, some woman getting her ass beat by a dude or some shit like that. Just this dude just pounding her ass out or nothing like that. Nobody really want to see that. People normally would step in for situations like that, you know. But in the times that we coming in, man, ain't nobody gonna be trying to save your ass. At least they ass get caught up in the same scenario and get, you know, drugged the fuck out, man. Nobody gonna be thinking about, oh, this is a woman. They're gonna be thinking she got the last bag of rice and I gotta feed my kids, man. I don't know this lady, or maybe I do know this lady. She might be my neighbor, but hey, my kids come before this lady next door with this loud ass barking dog anyway. Whether she had a dog or she didn't have a dog, my kids still come first, or I come first, you know? So it's gonna be a real dog eat dog world out there, man. All right. Let me go to Matthew 24:10. Matthew 24:10, it says, and then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. All right. And again, coming to these times where, you know, and man, we've reported on these things years ago. I remember making videos about this years ago before the pandemic of how, you know, you had different relatives wind up killing each other for different things. Matter of fact, I read an article today about this. It was an Edomite dude. I forgot what country he was in. So-called made a pact with the devil. All right, to win the lottery number or something like that. But part of his pact was he had to kill like 6 women every 6 months or something like that. And he started with like, I believe it was his two sisters or something like that. So he wound up offering his two sisters just to win a damn lottery. You know what I'm saying? You see what I mean? These are his blood relatives. He's wound up offering them just so he can get some money. He ain't in no time right now where it's like, it's getting a little hard out there to eat and everything else like that. But I mean, you technically can still go to McDonald's and you can still kind of eat for relatively McDonald's standards, I'm pretty sure it's a lot higher from, the reports. It's a lot higher than what it was beforehand, but it's still relatively cheap. You're not going to McDonald's and spending $100 for a hamburger today. You see one hamburger today, but nevertheless, this is what he's wound up doing in these times right now, all right, just to get by. But how much more, when, like I said, when there's really a scarcity of resources out here, man. All right, people are going to be willing to off their own kin folks. Hey, the scriptures say that these women are going to be cooking their own kids, man. All right, so hey, we know that these things are about to get real ugly for everybody out here, man. All right, jumping down to verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, all right, because all this wickedness is keep going forward, hey, with these mandates, making it harder and harder for people just to survive, to put food on their table, man. People are going to start turning into a dog-eat-dog world, man. All right, it says the love of many shall wax cold. All right, and you seeing these things happening right now, man. All right, a lot of people are on edge. A lot of people are stressed out, and it's just only going to intensify, only going to get worse, man. All right, some dude just lost his job because of these mandates, and he's pissed off that he got to go find another job. All right, not that there ain't no more jobs and ain't no more businesses, ain't no more money coming in, just the fact that he got to go find another job. They got a term called going postal because of the post office workers used to get upset at their job and wind up killing up everybody in the office. All right, so you think about those things that happened back in those times, how much more in these times that we're coming into, man. All right, where people are just going haywire over all these different things, man. All right, because of, these draconian laws is going forth and things like that. People are like, hey, man, y'all done took away my livelihood, my country and everything else like that. So what do I got to lose now? All right, so this is what's going to cause people to just start spazzing on everybody, man. All right, let me go to, I just quoted something. Let me grab this real quick before it slips off of my mind. Jeremiah chapter 30, start at verse 5. All right. Jeremiah 30 and 5, it says, for thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. All right. You got a lot of our people that's still thinking about that bounce back, man. They still thinking about, let me grab this precept real quick. Okay, 2nd Ezra 16. I want to say verse 18. Well, let me read all of this real quick. 2nd Ezra 16 and 17, because we just read about, I hear a voice of trembling and of fear and not of peace. All right, you have our people that's looking for this here bounce back, right? It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? All right, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And that's really what the times we're living in now, where these things are starting to escalate at a rapid rate. These missile testings, all right, lockdowns and things like that, these new laws and things. Hell, up in New York, they talking about trying to go door to door and basically forcing people to participate, picking people up and taking them out and all these different things like that, man. Things are going to just get worse and worse and worse and worse. All right. Shortages, food prices going up, the devaluation of your dollar and all these different things, man. It's about to get real ugly out here. All right. Verse 19 says, behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. But for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness, but nor always be mindful of the scourges. So going back into this again, 2/3 of our people aren't mindful of these things. It's just a little blip in the road, man. We're going to bounce back. We're going to always come back, man. We can't even really be hurt or affected by these things, man. So they're going to just keep continuing on with, their wickedness, right? Verse 21, going into them with this here bounce back, it says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, they shall think themselves in a good case. All right. And going into that, not too long ago, you had all these paper tag Hellcats out here when the stimmies was going out, these PPP loans was going out and all these things, and Jake was getting caked up. So not only are they looking for the bounce back, now they getting this here bag or whatever, and making a little bit of more money than they've ever really been making beforehand, coming up off of governmental assistance to living like that, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot more money than they were given. So, they're in a trick bag thinking, hey, shit, when this shit bounce back, I'm going to be up. everything gonna be all good. But it says, even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. All right. How is it that, these people they're dishing out more and more money than they ever have, just freely just giving out money more and more, but it's getting more and more expensive for you to buy anything, man. You got all this money that you ain't never really had beforehand, but you can buy less shit now than you could before when you was quote unquote broke, man. All right. They should think themselves in a good case, thinking it's going to bounce back. Jake don't really see, like we was just reading, I hear a voice of fear and of trembling, not of peace. They think that it's going to be peace. They think there's going to be a bounce back. They think that things are going to be sweet for them, man, just because they started getting the bag and things like that. But, Esau is a very deceptive ass, how you call him, creature, basically, man. This nigga is very deceptive, man. This nigga is like to the point to where, he's a damn devil, man. Put it that way. He's not going to come to you in no rah-rah type of spirit. You know what I'm saying? Well, now he coming out with, with them draconian laws, but even when he come out with those draconian laws, he's still speaking like a lamb. We want to help you with these things, so we must mandate these things. All right, he speak like that, but he's not coming out saying, "Yo, we want to kill all you niggas out here for real because we want the smoke." No, he don't speak like that, man. So Jake think things are still gonna be good, but they don't realize that again, things is getting bad out there, man. There's a voice of fear and trembling, not of peace. They think peace is coming. They think that bounce back is coming, but lo and behold, all these evil things are growing upon the earth as we speak. All right, so now let's get back to Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 5. It says, "For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace." Because, hey, when the victuals started coming in, shit, Jake thinking they're going to turn up, but it's the trick bag, man. All right, he's leading you to the slaughter, man. It says, "Ask ye now, see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turn into paleness." All right, so let's just think about this. You got a mother and a father and some kids, right? Now, the kids growing up, little kids, they growing up, a spider come in the house. Mom scream, "Ah!" The kids, look at mom, it's a spider. She gets scared. You might have a little boy, maybe 7 years old. He might run over there and step on it. He ain't that scared, I mean, they don't really look at their mom like, "Oh, well, she's scared and we should be afraid like that in a sense." It is what it is. She's scared of bugs, insects, and everything else like that. But lo and behold, let them be mom, dad, and the kids and everything else like that, and they hear their father scream like that, man. Or certain things like that. They see their father in fear. They see their father trembling and things like that. Them kids is going to be shook. They're like, "Oh, shit, we got to get our shit together. Shit's not right because our head or our hedge, our protection, he's trembling. We should be afraid, man." All right, so this is the things that we're looking at here, whereas men are how does it say, with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, man. All right, like if you walking down a maternity ward or where women are and going into labor, and you see a bunch of women or hear a bunch of women down the hallway pushing as these contract, they trying to get the baby out, and they all screaming and pushing and everything else. Imagine being in a whole hallway like that. The screams of these women as they're pushing these babies out. How much more of a whole bunch of big tough guy gangster niggas that y'all fear in the street? Nah, we don't want to mess with homeboy. Nah, we don't want the smoke from him. Imagine a whole room full of them all scared and fearing, man. Screaming. All right, what happens if, you out on the block and people start shooting? What do the people say? Call 911, call the police, right? And then you see the police coming, okay, shit, now we got a sense of security because the police coming. But then what happens if you start hearing some gunshots going off and then you hear the police sirens peeling out, going the opposite direction? You know how Jake got that sense into them. One of these comedians said that, where it's like, man, we don't need nobody to tell us when to run. I think it was said entertaining in Kings of Comedy. We don't need nobody to tell us when to run, this and that. Let 3-4 black folk get up and start running right now. We don't even know what the hell we running for. We just getting up and running. That's the same sense that we reading about over here, man. You start seeing the police running from the scene, get your ass the fuck up out of there, man. All right, 9/11, those buildings started coming down. You see the firefighters and the police and everybody running. You don't need to ask no questions. Just run, bro. Because if you sitting there trying to stick around, trying to figure out what's going on, said the entertainer saying, the Edomites, they run right into what's going on. Why is everybody running? Then they wind up getting killed off in the thing, man. You in a scenario like the World Trade Center is a tragedy going on, and the rescue people is going over there to rescue some folks. But now all of a sudden, they turning around and running away. What would be the wisest thing for you to do? Follow after them. Run after them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they running and they the ones that's supposed to run into the burning buildings and they running out of the burning building, it would be wise for your ass to turn around and run as well too. All right, because there's some real danger over there. The people that runs into danger is running away from danger, right? Verse 7 says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. All right. So there's going to be a time like never before on the face of the earth, man. All right. World War I, World War II, the transatlantic slave trade, man. All these different horrible things and stuff like that, man. All these things are coming upon the earth, man. The Great Depression and all these different things are nothing. So like they're nothing in comparison to the things that's about to come upon the earth. All right. And so these things here are going to just trigger off basically, let me go down to, what is it? 2nd Ezra 6:22, I think. Yeah. 2nd Ezra 6:22, it says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall be. Matter of fact, let me grab something else first. We'll come back to that. 2nd Ezra 15. We'll start at verse 14. All right. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. All right. For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. All right. The sword, death, and destruction draweth nigh. All right. And so, hey, man, somebody brought this up the other day about, being destroyed and destruction doesn't necessarily go into death, man. Because you could be out here destroyed out here in the streets and stuff like that. You see somebody like, let's say you see somebody like a Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, as rich as they are. All of a sudden you see them a year later. Now they out on the side of the road or something like that. Sleeping on the sidewalk, begging for food and everything else like that, just all messed up. You're like, damn, what happened to him? He done got destroyed, man. He's out here just bad out here, man. All right. So, hey, man, a lot of these people, there's going to be people that's going to be basically destroyed all the way into the missiles actually wipe their ass off the face of the earth, man. Going through all of these things, the famines, the destruction or the famines and running from folks. I mean, who's not to say if you was to eat a missile, all right, the shit that you would have went through before you even ate a missile, you wasn't picked up somewhere and held in captivity and tortured, and motherfuckers pulling off your limbs and stuff like that to eat you and everything else like that. But you still alive the whole time, all the way until the missiles drop, man. All right. So like I said, man, you got to have a vision for all these things, man. There's going to be some horrible shit that's going to be going on, man. All right. You got like Guantanamo Bay. All right. You didn't heard about the shit that they've been doing in Guantanamo Bay, man. And it's probably going to be some people still in the Guantanamo Bay getting tortured until the missiles drop, man. So just think about that. They already destroyed out there in them damn torture camps and things like that. All the way up until the missiles drop, man. All right. So, hey, things is going to get real bad out here, man. All right. It says, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up against another with swords in their hands. All right. And so, one of the catalysts to start these things out is a lack of bread, which we'll get to down at the bottom. But, hey, man, with a lack of bread, all right, you already got people that's ready to go at each other's throat over who the damn president is and who you voted for. All right, that's some shit that for us, Jake, that shit don't really matter to us. It don't matter to nobody really, but, because they got their agenda anyways. But why the hell, you not even to get too far on that, but that's some bullshit that don't even matter. But you got people willing to kill each other over that. All right. It says, for the sword in the destruction draweth nigh, one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, man. America got more guns than they got people out here, man. So it's going to be a real life purge out here. All right. And just the fear of all these things, man. You got a lot of these so-called single independent women and stuff like that. Or a lot of these docile men. Hell, even a lot of these strong gangbanging ass niggas out here, man. All right. You live in an apartment building or whatever. And you just imagine that. You live in a high rise building. And while you trying to sleep at night, you know what I'm saying? You sleep with your strap or whatever, or trying to sleep. But all of a sudden you start hearing the doors getting kicked in down the hall, people screaming, gunshots going off, and, all kind of crazy things is going on coming down the hallway, man. That's going to start putting you into fear and trembling and scaring. You don't know if this is going to be your last moment, your last minutes. You got your kids inside, the room trying to hide them and everything else like that, man. All right. But nevertheless, I don't know if you ever seen this movie called, not Matilda. It's called, the girl's name was Matilda. The Professional. It's a movie. It's an old school movie. It used to be my favorite movie as a kid. It was called The Professional. All right. There was this girl who the movie was centered around her and the dude, I forgot his name, Leon. Her and Leon. Now, Leon lived in this apartment. He was a professional killer. He was like an assassin. Right. He lived in his own little apartment, which was like down the hall or down the hall from this other family, right? And apparently the dad was some shady dude doing some type of shady business. I don't know if he was working with the mob or somebody like that, but nevertheless, what happened was one day he was into it with somebody, and they came to basically kill him off. Maybe he owed him some money or something like that, right? Now the little girl Matilda had went to the store, and she was coming back when all this happened. So she's in the hallway coming up, and as she's in the hallway, she see these dudes in front of her apartment door and everything like that. She realizes, something's going wrong. She tried to play it off and start knocking on Leon's door. The whole time Leon hearing the commotion down the hallway going off, the screaming and all that stuff. So he got his gun behind the door, looking out the window, making sure that he's straight, just natural instinct and everything else like that. But now the little girl's knocking at his door and everything, trying to get in. She's trying to hold back her tears, not trying to look all shook up and everything else like that. But then she got a little brother the whole time. He in there trying to hide. I think he's under the bed or some shit hiding. The whole time the little boy can hear his mom getting slapped up, the dad getting slapped up, getting tossed around. They wind up getting shot and everything else like this is why the little boy's under the bed. And I believe the little boy even got killed, man. So this little girl is sitting over there, not only is the little boy sitting over there listening to his parents getting beat, abused, tortured, and then getting killed while he's under the bed hiding. They in the same room. He's hearing all this shit, being traumatized and everything. Then he get put to death. The little girl now, she's probably 12 or 13 years old, is knocking at the door. She see the henchman right outside the door, seeing all these things happening, man. On the other, not even 100 feet away, her whole family is getting slaughtered, man. Think about that trauma and that type of shit that's going through their mind, that fear that's going on in their minds, man. All right, it's going to be an all-out purge out here, man. All right, so these are the things you have to kind of think about in these times, man. This is not nothing to be playing with. Jacob's trouble is not going to be, it's going to be something that ain't going to affect me. I ain't got to worry about those type of things. I ain't in that type of place or wherever else like that. You know how they say, hey, living out in L.A. where the gang's at, and that's a real dangerous area, or Chirac where all that's dangerous, but hell, I don't live over there, so I ain't got to worry about it. No, this is going to come upon the whole, all of America going to be feeling this, and really the world, but this is Jacob's trouble. So wherever Jake is at, this is going to be taking place around you, man. All right? It says, for there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions stand in their power. So like your simple laws, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not rob, and all these, or how they say here in America, it's illegal to murder somebody, kill somebody, and rob and steal and everything else like that. People ain't gonna be worried about no shit like that, man. All right, you could be in there. Let's say you were able to call the police and be like, oh my God, somebody's breaking into my house trying to steal my food, and I got my food. It's a woman calling. It's just me and my 2 kids, and we're scared. We don't have any guns or anything else like that. The police might be like, all right, what's your address? We finna roll up. Some teenage boys. All right, we gonna roll up. Now the police go over there, kill the little teenage boys, go in there and kill the woman and the child, man. They're not going to be worried. The police ain't going to be worried about breaking the laws at those points in time. So how much more these other folks that's not the police out here worried about breaking the laws out here, man? All right. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Hey, so you may be in a spot where, one state or one city may be a so-called safe zone, but where you at, it's all turned up, but you can't even get to that spot, man. All right. They may have a quarantine roadblock type of thing, not letting you in. All right. Hey, man, there's no escaping these things, man, except for through Yahweh, man. All right. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All for what? Food, man. Shortages of food and resources and things like that, man. All right. Look at Jake in the hood with drugs and all, back in the crack era and all these different eras like that, man. Why do you think they was really doing all those things, man? Not because they can go to McDonald's and make $500 an hour flipping burgers. If they could make $500 an hour flipping burgers at McDonald's, they would all put their guns down, all put their drugs down. There'd be no crime in our neighborhoods, man. Because, why would I risk all that when I can go make $500 an hour? You know what I'm saying? Work 1 hour a day, you know what I'm saying, and make a regular paycheck for what most people is making anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather go work at McDonald's than abide by the law at that point. But when there's a lack of resources, man, all right, you look at the hoods, man. That's all I got to say, man. That's what they, it's a lack of resources and things like that. So, and Jay got an evil eye towards his brother. So, hey, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, man. But we know this is going to be a time like never before since there was a nation on earth, even into this same day, man. These people are about to be at each other's throats, for a lack of bread, the love of many waxing cold, iniquity abounding. All right, it's just going to be a dog-eat-dog world out there, man. You got people that's going up there and spazzing out on the kids at school because some people don't want to wear masks or some people want to wear masks. Hey, man, what happens some parent be like, you know what, because you don't want to send your kid to school with a mask or something like that, you might get my kids sick and my family sick. They want to go up to the school and start turning up on them kids, man. All right, but in a real evil way. All right, these are the things that's coming upon the earth, man. These people, hey, man, all they consume is just violence and wickedness. They got knockout games. They walking around knocking out old people for fun. What do you think they're gonna do when it's come time to eat at the end of the day, man? They're not gonna have no pity upon none of these people out here, man. Your friends, your family, the people you know, people who's been watching your kids, people that done raised you from a child on up. All right, all these people are gonna become, enemies upon one another. Matter of fact, we'll close out with that, so we don't drag this lesson on too much longer. I can grab that too. Damn, the other precept slipped my mind now. Let me grab this one real quick. Matthew 10:34 says, think not that I've come to send peace upon the earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. All right. People think the day of the Lord is going to be nice and the Lord coming back to bring peace and everything else like that. It says, for I'm come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foe shall be they of his own household, man. All right. So, hey, man, not only can they see something, say something, call the police on you because you don't want to participate, but how much more when they like, look, bro, we down to our last bag of ramen noodles. You know what I'm saying? And there's 6 of us in here, man. Man, I might have to kill everybody else in this damn house just so I can eat at the end of the day, man. All right. And then how much more to eat the rest of them? You know what I'm saying? These are the things that's going to be coming into the world at this point in time. This is the type of time people going to really be on in these last days, man. Think about the movie The Purge and things like that. Go back and watch those movies, man, because this is going to become a reality real soon, man. All right. These are the things that's coming as, the visions yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because at the end it shall speak and not tarry, man. All these visions and things that we've been speaking about, they're all coming to pass, man. There's no escaping these things except for through Yahweh Shah, man. All right, you have to be a part of that chosen elect, man, to be saved up out of these perilous times that's coming upon the earth. All right. I know what I was going to grab. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2. Let me get it. It says, I will set Egyptian against Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. All right. So going into it, it's going to be an all out, battle royale, man. All out purge on everybody, man. Anybody and everybody can get it, man. You have a lot of people that have a lot of pent up animosity. You have a lot of so-called quote unquote punks out here that don't have the strength. Like, they might be getting bullied, but they know that they small, weak, and feeble, don't know how, they ain't got no hands. So they be like, this is why you had these little Edomites that go and shoot up the damn schools and shit like that, because they ain't really got no hands. They be scared of real confrontation. So they go hide behind a little sword and everything else like that, man. But how much more when, it's straight lawlessness out here, and maybe they come across a gun, their parents might have got killed off, they go in their parents' gun cabinet, or hell, maybe they go in their parents' gun cabinet off their parents and just start offing everybody else in the block that then so-called harassed them or did whatever to them. The little girl in the class, there was that movie Brightburn, where the little girl didn't want to give the dude no play, and he wound up murking that little girl, man. All right, so hey, man, just think about these. Oh man, you cheated me. Yeah, you look on YouTube about how much people be flipping out over crazy shit. Just read the comments on anything, man. Is this person better than this person? And see people fight in the comment sections, man. Watch on YouTube, rage quit. You know what I'm saying? When people playing a video game and they start rage quitting and stuff over a goddamn game, man, they cheating, bro. And they boom. Look, man, I had a cousin that taught me this. He's like, look, man, I don't play. It's 3 things I don't mix: spades, alcohol, spades, alcohol, and family, or something like that. Because when them 3 get together, normally it ends pretty bad. And this is over a card game, man. People be ready to fight and do all kind of things. But how much more when, they're not going to be regarding the kings or the princes, the lawlessness go out, man. People going to just be like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to go out here and just start wasting folks, man. All right. You got all these people that's pent up with all this here violence, pent up inside of them, a lot of animosity, a lot of stress, a lot of demons that they just, how do I say, embody in them. Hey, man, these spirits created for vengeance, man. It's going to be, like I said, go and watch the Purge movies, man. All right, this is what's really coming to play, man. And when you watch these movies, think about what would you do in a scenario like that? Every scene, every person that you see running across the screen, or every person that they come across, think about if you was that person or the other person, what you would do in that scenario, or how you would react in these times, man. All right, because like I said, man, we're coming upon a time like it's never been since there was a nation even into the same time, man. All right, but hey, Let me close with that in the book of Daniel real quick. Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time shall thy people be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. All right. So, hey, it's going to be a time like never before since there was a nation, even to the same time, man. It's about to get real ugly out there. So, Lord's will, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth, and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, and pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.